Welcome to Snowed In Sundays. I'm your host, Snow, and this is the Cold Truth Podcast, where we have honest conversations. We're going to challenge perspectives, debate the topics that most people are thinking but unwilling to talk about. So, for tonight's conversation, the topic is: does a man's bank account determine what a woman will tolerate? So some of the rules are: I need you to remember the goal is not to prove who's right or who's wrong, it's to hear different viewpoints, challenge our own thinking, have respectful conversations. So if you have something to add and you're in the comments, you just joined the live, request to join the panel, just please remember, don't overtalk anybody, attack the argument, not the person. So let's get into it. Me personally, I think it depends on what type of woman she is and where she is in her life, how established she is. I think different strokes, different folks. For me, I feel like younger women, when they don't have it all together, or even sometimes older women, just depending on where they are in their life, they'll take the disrespect. But then on the other hand, I do know several women who are very well off in their life, and the man's bank account does change what she'll tolerate. But it isn't just the bank account that he's coming with. He's coming with the sex and all the other stuff. But the bank account did change what she tolerated. Literally leaving a good man for a not so good man because he spent more money on her than the other one did. So what do y'all think, fellas? Have you ever had a woman that tolerated a whole lot of BS just because you were able to financially provide for her?
So my thoughts mirror yours. So everything you said is what I was thinking in a roundabout way. But what I will add is I think just the status for some women to be with somebody that makes that much, because it's not too many people that can do it, as to why she would tolerate it, even if it's not what he's given, just the fact that he's in that 1% or that less than 10%. And she has that status just by being with him might be a reason why she might tolerate it. These are my thoughts.
Okay. So I had somebody tell me one time that every woman is looking for this 1% man. This certain type of man is only 1% of those men. And that's why they feel like they'll go for anything.
I mean, you can never tell these days. I mean, women. I never had that problem. Honestly, I can say, but I think having money is a big step too, because you also don't want a man that's just broke and roaching off of you, like using you and whatnot. But I wouldn't say lead with that, because some women have their own, so I don't think that's really an issue. And then again, it's like you
You
said,
cut
all
out on
depends.
us.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Oh, okay. I mean, some women, they have their own, so you gotta bring other things to the table besides having a bank account, but you also can't be broke.
True. I agree. I'm big that anybody should date at any point in time if you're not financially stable. That's why I say it depends on the type of woman you're dealing with. You have some women that, you know, their transactional relationship is doing anything for a person who's going to make sure that they're financially stable. But my biggest thing is I feel like it has come a time where a lot of men box all women in the same category. So I was talking to somebody the other day and he was like, every single woman is going to fold for the bag. And I disagree. Respectfully, I don't agree that every single woman will fold for the bag. I don't want the money if it's coming with disrespect. Me personally. So, ladies, what are y'all thoughts?
I would like to add to the conversation that I think one, yes, it can determine what she will tolerate if she's dealing with, like, you know, a man who's not a great person, but somehow has access to money. I think that it can change how she would respond. But I also think this narrative that men who have access to a lot of money, who are wealthy, who are rich, are bad men, I think that's terrible rhetoric, actually. Because just because a man has money doesn't make him a bad person, or it doesn't mean that he'll drag her. Some men will, right? But broke men, we know in mass, are angrier, meaner, and more likely to commit harm to women than men who are financially stable. I wanted to toss that out there as well.
I think so too. You made a valid point. I feel like they have a lot to figure about, a lot to maybe feel ridiculed or pressured about. So I can definitely agree with that. But for some reason, when you talk to men, yes, if the man has money, he's going to take you down through it. I don't. I feel like it depends on what type of man you are.
Yo, what you got?
So I just feel like it depends on the pressures that maybe he's dealing with. But I also feel like that some men who have money take advantage of having money, and they do it purposely because they know they can get away with a lot of things. And that's why I feel like we've been boxed into this narrative of everybody's gonna fold. It doesn't matter. TC, what are your thoughts?
Good afternoon. I mean evening. I think that women who are desperate will fall for a man will tolerate anything. Like, for instance, a woman who doesn't have anything right now going, facing like homelessness or something like that will definitely fall for it. But a lot of women will not, especially women getting their own money. I could care less about a nigga's pockets. Sorry, a man's pockets. Like, I really don't care. So I think it depends on the what the woman's circumstances is. But I think overall, most women do not care about your pockets.
I agree. Man, have y'all had something different? Y'all gotta jump in the conversation. What are y'all thoughts? We feel like we don't care. I feel like I got my own, so I don't really. It's not gonna move me.
I agree on that. Like most women don't care, but like you said, you gotta be financially stable. You gotta come with something. You know, like you gotta do what a man's supposed to do. Be the man. Take initiative at the end of the day. Take the lead.
Wait, what?
I'll be honest. Go ahead.
Like, what do you mean by be the man? Like, I'm saying,
Like for instance, if y'all going somewhere and the man got to cover the bill, or if there's something that needs to be done, like mechanic issue on a car or something, you're not gonna sit there and let the woman pay it or take care of it. The man's gonna step in and do it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm
you
getting.
saying that man gotta be a man.
Yeah, a man gotta be a man.
I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah, I agree, man. But here's the thing. I also don't like waiting on people, and I feel like that some men, like, they use their money so they could utilize it. That's why I always will work for my own money, no matter how much money my man has. I always have to make my own money because I never want to sit here and beg for a man to do anything for me. So as well, you could be a man, but if you don't take initiative to be that man, I'm not gonna sit here and beg you either.
Offer the money, or you don't suggest, oh, you know what, I'll pay it for you. I'm gonna still do my nails today. Like, I ain't waiting till whenever you get paid 7 days from now. You know what I mean? So I agree with that. And I think that as a woman, literally having your own money, whether you're especially when you're in a relationship, it removes that aspect of like having to like ask a man and then wait on him, unless he's the kind who's like constantly initiating, like, oh, do you need anything? Like, That's why, from my standpoint, I need a man. Do you need anything right now? Like, ask. Get gas in my car because I got XYZ to do tomorrow, and I don't know if I'm gonna have.
Is it me or is everybody
He's in
circling?
the middle of something, like a man who's willing to like
No, her
have like
sound keeps going in and out.
Yeah, your sound keeps going out.
Priestess, your service is going off, boo.
I think wait, try it again, Priest. I think it again. Try it again. I think you're good now.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, yeah, I was saying, like, I think that for me personally, I need a man who has foresight, who can hear what I'm saying without me directly asking him. Like, if I say, oh, I have XYZ I have to do tomorrow or this week, and I have to get gas for my car, I don't know if I'm gonna have time. Like, if I'm complaining about something, I need him to be like, oh, you know what? I got it, actually. Like, that's the kind of conversation, that's the way, I guess, like, I would say that's the closest I would get to asking, right? Is mentioning it, and then if you don't do something, I'm gonna do it myself. You know what I mean?
I get that. So you're trying to say basically that even if he does come with great financial stability, if he isn't taking the initiative, then it is definitely not going to move you because you can do it for yourself.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I feel that too. I'm the same way. But in this day and time, you know, they have this outlook that if you ask, it's begging. Are they really initiating it, or are they just using the bank account and the flashy money to have their way with women? And I feel like some are, because some women tolerate it because they're here for a good time, not a long time. I also feel like, too, unpopular opinion, depending on how many kids you have in the household with you as a single mother, I feel like I've seen that weigh on some women's decisions as well. They will tolerate a lot because he comes with a lot. In their mind, this is now a high value man for them, or of their standards. So they accept the cheating if they don't want to. They accept the disrespect. I've even seen them accept the abuse in physical form, emotional form, and mental, because every month he's going to come around and pay the rent.
You mind if I jump in here for a second before we get too far along?
Yeah.
Okay, to double back, the statement that you made, there was a gentleman that said that every woman is going to fold. I think the worst thing any of us can do, men and women alike, is generalize a whole group of people, whether it be women, men, young, old, black or white, generalize, because everybody has their different outlook and their different walk of life. So I do not think everyone will fold because everybody not built the same way, no matter what their situation is. So that's the first part. The next part is someone said that they don't believe that women, as a generalized statement, care about the bank account. But we all know, if we sit and think about many of these topics, that can't possibly be true at all, because you don't want a broke man. Like, if the money didn't matter at all, then the bank account definitely matters. And the more it is, the more it matters, because you won't date somebody that makes less than a certain amount. Even if it's the average individual making, what's the median income is 40 to 80, that person is considered broke depending on what state you live in. So I think that we could debunk that. And then the next part is wanting the man to be clairvoyant. I think it's interesting it's not good enough to have a man that does have the means, even though it's under a certain percentage of men or individuals that make over 100,000 or over 80,000. You also want him to think for you before you think it, or you want him to jump in. It's not good enough that he's willing to do what you need him to do. You want him to know that he should do it. And the last part that I'm gonna say is, sometimes I think the water gets murky because what are we talking about? Are we talking about in a full-blown relationship? Are we talking about in the talking stages? Are we talking on the stages where you start living together? So in that case, you want him to financially do these things without being asked, and y'all just talking? Or are y'all fully in the situation, or y'all set to be engaged? You see, it's different nuances to it, and it's kind of hard for me as a man to understand what is expected of me on
See,
these different levels.
the thing is, okay, so
And that,
I'm gonna address the part about in a relationship. Do you want to eat? Do you want me to like ask you, oh, do you need to eat today? Like, do you want me to, does it need to be like that? Or do you want me to assume that you're hungry and you might want to eat something when you wake up in the morning? Like, I think you have to think of it from that. No. It's not the same. It's not the same. It's this, and I'm sorry, it is the same. It's the same exact thing. If a woman is coming to, if a woman mentions something to you that she wants or that she's thinking of, that you have to have, and again, critical thinking kind of comes into here. So if you don't have critical thinking skills, yeah, you might lag. And so, you know what I mean, might lose opportunities on women because you can't think properly. But I'm saying, like, for a man who hears like a woman complaining, if a woman's complaining about having to do something or not having enough time to do something, the best thing you can do, especially for a woman who is independent, who is able to function on her own without your assistance, the best thing you can do is offer to take something off of her plate, because she will do it. And then she'll also leave you. So there's that.
Well, you know what? The thing is, this stuff, what you suggest is so close to manipulation a lot of times, and be can used against man in various kinds of ways. I hear on here a man won't argue with a female. That's to make a man shut up when in these discussions sometimes, because you a sissy, or you less than a man because you argue with a female. It's all kind of nuances to this intuitiveness that I suggest, because a lot of times in the back end, it's like I didn't ask you to do that, because you never directly asked. You just threw out these suggestions that I complain and see. And rather than ask or be direct, you're always doing this indirect thing. So you can always say back in the back end, I didn't ask you to do
I
that.
never
You
asked
did it
you,
on your own.
which is
But
you
see,
did it on
and
your
that, and
own.
that
And
is
why
see,
would somebody
you
want to
might
beg?
not use it.
But why
You
should
might not
somebody
use it,
beg?
but a lot of women will use it. We talking about grown people. If I need $20 to pay something, or pay the meter or someplace like that, it's not begging, But you just like we're talking about real adult things, bills, things and necessities that need to be done. If you want to talk about if you want to eat a meal, or expectations to cook and all that kind of stuff, these other things are on the same. If you want to put them on the same level, then ask directly. Don't be hitting around and walking around where I got to be, because that's disingenuous, and a lot of and to advise men to do that kind of thing is bad taste.
so if I can add to that, I believe we should normalize dealing with people who have good communication skills. There's nothing wrong with having good communication skills. Hitting at something, that's not good communication. I will say this. Eating is a normal function on a daily basis. You have to eat every day. If you're going to cook, I happen to be there, it would be nice to eat as well. All right? Some of the things that you're saying I might need to do, it's not the same thing at all. They are not in the same lines of being the same to me. But I do think
So
that
you don't want to. So you don't want to. So your point is you don't want to ask. You don't want to ask either.
no, I don't, let me be clear. I don't think it makes sense. Like if you cooked because you ate, or
No.
you went out
If
and did
I
something,
know how to cook, I know how to cook just enough for me. Because if I eat
okay.
something, for example, what if I eat something that, you know what I mean? You might not eat everything that I eat,
Well,
right?
at 2 o'clock in the morning, when my dick get hard and I roll over and start trying to, and hey, this is a need or want. Hey, you should go on with it, because
Uh,
we can go down these kind of crazy things. Rather than I don't need to ask. I don't need to care about your mood because hey, this dick is hard. That's we can't be just making these leaps
Wait, what are you
of
saying?
logic.
Hold on. What are you saying?
That is not my point at all.
That's,
That's
what are you
not the
saying?
example I'm using at
Okay.
all.
Okay.
Let me clarify my point.
Please, somebody clarify something.
Before it go off the rails.
Yeah, because I'm like, what are we talking about? What's the point?
Let me be clear. It's not an issue of me wanting to ask or me not wanting to ask when it comes to something like that. Like I said, if you're going to, sorry, you say we might not eat the same thing. You might be right. And if we're in that type of relationship, you know that. You already know that. And so, like for instance, I'm allergic to shellfish. If you want shrimp stampini, I can't eat that. You might want to cook the pasta separately. But you already know that. It's not the same thing. You know I have to eat. I don't know what your nail schedule is. But you're like I said, you're hitting at it, and it just don't hurt to say, hey babe, or establish this at the beginning. Listen, I get my nails done every couple of weeks. I really feel good when my man thinks enough of me to do this thing. But to just hint at it and expect for it to happen, and you haven't established this through good communication, it's kind of like a wild concept. It's all I'm saying. So I get your point.
So a woman can be fully cooking. So a woman can be fully cooking for you. Basically, you living, because at that point you're living with someone. If she cooking for you, you most likely live with her. You share the same space. So you're saying you can live with someone, and you're not going to pay attention. You're not going to pay attention to her nail schedule. You're not paying attention to when she gets her nails done. You're not paying attention to where she's going or what she's doing because you don't give a fuck. I got you.
Y'all say men. You say men are dumb on a regular basis, and I agree with y'all. We're not that bright. You're giving me too much credit.
That's not true, because there are some men that are.
On the flip side,
what are you saying?
On the flip side, what I was trying to in my thing on the flip side, if it's so much always leaning on what the woman's. These are not necessities. Nails nails and toes are not necessity. Hair getting done is not necessity. These are convenient
what if they
side items, right?
What if they are for me?
But you're weighing that against daily.
What if it is for me though? Like,
so I have a question right quick before y'all keep going, just to jump in for a second. So you said that these things that you have listed from women are not a necessity, but is sex a necessity? Because it sounds like somebody just said a minute ago, if they roll over in the middle of the night, then you need to do X, Y, and Z. Okay, so
just like she's trying to use an optional thing against a daily necessity.
No, I think what it is if you really listen to her and put it in perspective, she's saying notice what's a necessity for her because she's noticing what's a necessity for you. So if sex is a necessity for you, it may not be for me. It may not be for her. I can go days, weeks, months. It's fine. But you cannot. But you're right. If we're going to just use the nails for a second. We're going to stay surface with that. I'm not going a whole month without getting my nails done. That's a necessity for me. It may not be important for you. You may be like, baby, I like your nails the way that they are. But I know it's a need for me. So I think it's like when men have the big bank accounts, it comes with a lot of ego, and y'all have a lot of ego when it comes to that. I think y'all focus more on what y'all want sometimes versus what is a necessity for your partner or whoever you're dealing with.
Well,
I just want to put that out there, but y'all can keep going. I want to throw that out.
Women come with a long list of demands and things like that coming into just date in the early dating stages that you expect the man to do. Just expect, or he's less than a man if he doesn't do. And see, that's a false logic there.
Here's my thing though. If you know that women come with these things, why date us?
Exactly, because I mean, y'all are focused on the
loneliness and all these other things, or we built for companionship, psychologically, societally.
Okay,
so
I'm gonna be honest.
Men
come with a lot of things also. You guys, depending on the man, they like Like my man has the damn sneaker edition. We both do. We like shoes. I like my hair, my nails, and the hair done. But I knew that about that person. I think
But
that a lot
I
of
don't hear
wait,
men
hold on one
say,
second.
"Well, when I
Yeah,
I
but
need
y'all
her to
need
buy sneakers for me."
video games. Y'all need yes the hell they do. Y'all need video games. Y'all need sneakers. Y'all need food. Y'all need what you call it? Y'all need us to completely take care of your life. I make doctor's appointments. I'm the one that I booked the vacations. I set up everything. I set up the house. I set up everything. We do all that. So sometimes if it's be like, yo, hey babes, you or even if I'm saying I'm getting my nails done, right? Because okay, of course y'all might not know our nail schedule time, right? But if I'm getting my nails done today, all right, cool. I get a Cash App. I get a Venmo. I get a Zelle every time. I don't gotta ask. I just say, hey, I'm getting my nails done. What you doing today? I'm getting my nails done. It's not even me begging. I'm literally telling you what my day is, and then in his head is, oh, you getting nails done. Or if I haven't even said nothing and I've been in the nail salon and he FaceTime me like, what you doing? No, I'm getting my nails done. Oh, word. Before I leave, I already got a Cash App. But here's the thing. That's the wait. Hold on one second. That's how he has set up our relationship, right? So I don't expect that standard from all men. But what I will tell you, if we do not last, that my next man will have to keep that up also, because that's what I've been used to for the last 2 relationships. So if that's not your standards, and if you wouldn't be a man I would date, because that's not something you do, and that's okay. But a lot of times men tend to want to be with a high maintenance woman, if y'all will call it, or a woman that does have her hair, nails, and everything upkeep, and get upset because she's a high maintenance woman. Don't date happy. Move around. I need you to move around.
And I want to add to that too, because I do like the nails and feet and stuff, but instead of my hair, because I retwist my own hair, my skincare though is gonna cost money. I pay for my own skincare. So from my standpoint, right, if I'm running low on something, instead of me having to ask you, like I'm not going to ask you. And most women are not going to ask you because, like you said, no one wants things thrown in their face for having asked. No one wants to feel bad for having asked a man, specifically asked a man for any fucking thing. So if you offer it, we will accept it. But nobody wants to beg you. And only there's a certain type of woman who will, you know what I mean, quote unquote, call it communication, right? They call it communication and like ask niggas for shit. Most women who have like, you know what I mean, their head screwed on straight don't do that. So that being said, yeah, if I'm running low on like my lotions or my serums or something like that, and you aren't paying attention, I'm not gonna ask you. I'm just gonna be annoyed, like, oh, you don't even like you don't even give a fuck.
I might give you a little pushback on that one, because I think there are some maintenance that we could do that I don't expect him to pay for that. Now, if he gives me money and I use that money to do that, I think some maintenance is like skincare and stuff like that. I don't expect them, because that's putting a lot of pressure on men to be attentive, and they're not. I think that
if they should be. I mean, like at least that's how I receive love. So like, it's not. Again, I'm not. I don't get, and I can count on one hand how many long-term relationships I've been in because of that. Because most niggas don't. You're right. They don't pay attention.
But I think but I think that's putting the high. But I think that's not to say your fault, but that's on you for putting an expectation on people for not. I think you want them to be more attentive than their brains could even allow. I'm gonna be honest. I don't even remember when sometimes I'll like, I don't know about y'all, like I'll use a lotion and then like I'll come back the next day and be like, oh shoot, it was almost done, or like, you know, I have to get a new one, and I forgot.
So no, I know. I do that too. That's why I need somebody who can look out for me.
But I think like, you need to look out have realistic.
Yeah.
CC, I think you need to have realistic expectations for men. So I'm gonna use us for an example, right? They need to have realistic expectations when it comes to the amount of sex that they want. 5 to 7 days out of the month, we can't give it to you, and we don't feel like doing it another way. So have a realistic expectation that your woman can lay down with you 30 days out the month. I I think that and I'm talking about, because you said you can count on your hand how many long-term relationships you
no, that
have
was
been
High
in
Priestess.
because
That
of
was High
that.
Priestess. That was High Priestess.
So I think, oh, that was Priestess. Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Priestess. I'm sorry, CC. High Priestess, I'm saying I think that you should have those realistic expectations, because you don't want to put too much on them. You want to like understand a man is a man at the same time. Like, think about how many relationships you done been in where you had to force a man or show him how to do skincare. Or most men will even tell you, like, I didn't know much about skincare until, my girlfriend or my wife put me on it. So they're not going to jump in and pay attention to, he may pay attention to some things, but things that you're putting underneath your counter that he's not really clocking, if it's halfway empty or whatever the case may be, those are unrealistic expectations. And carrying that into a relationship, I think that we got bigger fish to fry with some stuff.
Priestess, you know how my man knows that I don't have lotion is because he keeps stealing my EOS.
Yeah,
So
right.
the only
That's what I'm saying.
reason,
No, I use EOS. That's what I'm
so
saying.
when
If he's using
so
it, but if he's using
if
it
he,
too,
so that's the only way, yo. So if he's using it, oh yeah, best to
if
believe you
he's
gotta
using
run
it
the
too,
Target, run
Yeah.
my shit, like run my stuff for
yes.
real. But like that's the only way. But like my skincare, like my facial stuff,
Okay, the
like that's
serums
I'll put that
maybe
on.
a little
I'll put that.
extra.
Yeah,
You're right.
I'll put that on myself. That's my own errands. It's like why we got like every little thing, but like when it comes to me,
Because
like
I've
my
been in
lotion,
situations where
like if he's
I have shared, and like he will, like as soon as it starts to get low, yeah, he'll go get more,
see,
so it
that's
doesn't
different
run
because we're
out.
sharing it. Because I could have 70 bottles a year. Like he will use every bottle. He loves them. Like so, I
Yeah, no, it's
understand that
good. It's good
aspect
stuff.
because he
Yeah.
keeps stealing them. Like, but that's the only But like things that I use myself, like I'm gonna use my makeup and expect them to refill my foundation makes no sense. Like that's on me.
No, I don't. I wouldn't say that. My makeup stays in my purse anyway. So like, how would you know? I get it. I get it. I'm not being unrealistic. I mean, like, I should have specified like shared items. So like, if you look, hopefully he uses lotion, things like lotion on his body and soap, like stuff like that. That's what I'm saying.
So let me ask you this: if let's say if you have a man, he's good, he's a leader, he's a provider, he's handling business without any disrespect coming with it. If he's using these things with you, right, and he forgets or he doesn't make it a priority to get you some more lotion, but he's still doing everything else, like keeping a roof over your head, making sure you don't have to touch the gas pump, taking out the trash. Like, how would you feel about that?
Yeah, then I would just, you know what I mean. I would obviously pick up the slack. Like if he's meeting all the other things, it's the problem is in a lot of instances they're not meeting the other stuff, so it's just an additional annoyance. But yeah,
That's bullshit.
if they're meeting all the other major qualifications, yeah, I'm gonna be like, okay, we're out of lotion. I'll just tell him, you know what, we're out of lotion. Let's get some more. Like I would just verbalize that. I don't have a problem.
Somebody was just about to say something. Somebody said that was BS. Who was that?
Wilson under me. Wilson.
Wilson?
That was not me.
That wasn't you?
I
No.
saw you.
I could have sworn it was
I
you.
swore it was his box light up too.
I
I thought
literally
I saw.
saw his
I was
light
on
up. Don't play.
mute. I've been on mute.
Yeah.
Okay, jump in. What you want to add to the conversation? We're talking about, does a man's bank account determine what a woman would tolerate?
Maybe. Maybe. Is that an acceptable answer?
Are you gonna
Look,
troll?
we ain't here to argue with your answer. We here to hear your perception.
I said maybe.
Maybe? Okay. What do you feel like determine that?
I don't know. This
So-
prompt is kind of dumb.
You said is what?
If he's trolling you, you should.
Yeah, I
This
think
prompt
he is.
sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get him up out of here.
You're a
Let's
dumbass.
get Wilson out of here.
Your mother. Touch his box and then just disconnect.
He gone. Let's see where he at to block him on here. I got a moderator, should be blocking in a second. But yeah, I feel like when we have these unrealistic expectations, going back to what you were just saying, how do you determine if you're going to overlook what you feel like he needs to fill in the space for you on?
Priestess, I think that was you.
Oh wait, can you say it again? Sorry.
I said, how do you said that if he's doing everything else, then you'll let him know that, hey, we need more of this and more of that. So my follow-up question, I actually have two. My follow-up question is, if he's doing everything else, can you just go and get it? Or are you still going to be like, hey, we need more of this?
No, I wouldn't mind going and getting it, but I would definitely let him know we're out, one. And if he, you know what I mean, ideally he would give me the money towards it. If he didn't, though, that's fine, but I would still let him know just to see like kind of how he responds. But I'm like that. I'm just like that kind of person. And then yeah, I wouldn't mind going to the store and like re-upping on lotion. Like I like going and getting like lotion, skincare, like doing all that like kind of stuff. Those are my favorite ones to do.
So you just want him to pay attention.
I just want him to pay attention. Yeah, I don't want to feel like I'm married to an idiot. Because a lot of niggas, and I mean, you know what I'm saying? I want to feel like the man that I have chosen to be with. Because even okay, so I've been married before. Also, to clarify, I have been married before, and my ex-husband was an extremely intelligent man. Of the issues that I had with him, control was literally the only one. Control and manipulation, specifically when it came down to like me running my own business and what I was doing with my money. And that's the reason that our relationship quite literally fell apart. That's it. Other than that, he was on top of things. Like he would tell me about things. Like I don't know. I can't deal with a man who I don't feel matches or exceeds my intelligence, because then I feel like I'm too much, and I don't like that feeling, because I'm not too much. You need to be more. And I'm not going to go back and forth with a man about how he should better himself. So I just wanted to like preface that with that. Like I've never been cheated on. I don't have like those other issues, like a lot of the stuff that the prompts we be talking about, because this isn't the first time I'm addressing a prompt that's kind of like this, but a lot of the issues that like come up with like standard, with like quote unquote regular niggas, I've never dealt with those directly, but I've had friends and I've seen how some men move when it comes to women, and it's trash. So that's why I come on and just give my perspective.
Fellas, what's y'all thoughts on her expectations when it comes to that and thinking what she just said?
My thoughts are she's going to price herself out the game every time. Like, on one breath, you're saying that you want them to refill these things and know what you're thinking before you say it. On another hand, you're saying that this is your favorite thing to do. I'm confused, and I ain't never met you before.
Yeah, that's fine. I like to do it, but I also want to know that the man that I'm with cares enough about me to like initiate or to pay attention. That's what I'm saying. It's not a matter of, it's not to the detriment of the man. If you're busy, you're working and you're doing all this other stuff and you don't have the time or you aren't able to, that's one thing. That's not what I'm saying. But if you're at home and say it's the weekend, right? Perfect example. Say it's the weekend. It's an easy weekend. No one has any plans for the weekend. It's one weekend that is an easy weekend and there's no plans. You have no plans. But on that Saturday, say Saturday night, we run out of lotion, right? You use the last of it. You know you use the last of it. You don't say anything. Oh, you know what? I use the rest of the lotion. I'm going to go get some more so that on Sunday when you shower, right, a man using his brain would think like, okay, my girl's going to shower the next day. I want to make sure she has lotion so she can get out of the shower and put lotion on her body. Use the last of the lotion. God forbid, I wake up Sunday morning, you didn't go and get any. You've had nothing to do. I take a shower and now I have no lotion to put on. Now I'm irritated and I'm frustrated and pissed at you. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not. Go ahead.
I'm going to concede this section of the conversation, and the only reason is because I don't have experience with this in any way, shape, or form. Reason is because I never used the lotion that my woman used. I don't know. I don't know. I think that we leave the house every day.
Yeah, I was going to say that too.
And if you run out of lotion, you knew that you don't have lotion. I think that
I'm talking about the man using the last of it. If I'm with a man who uses the last of it, he should go get it again. Or he should tell me so that I can go get it if he's not able to. Does that make sense?
Can
Because
somebody
I've
tell me
been in
what
the
the prompt?
position to share. I've done the sharing thing. Like I know how to share. You know what I mean?
Hold on, just
So
let me hop in.
so
Let me hop in right quick. Somebody just asked what the
okay.
prompt was. We're
Yeah, I
talking
can only
about
see a little bit of it.
we're talking about the prompt is, does a man's bank account determine what a woman would tolerate?
Man, okay. A lot of women want a 6'4", 6-figure man. You understand? And that's technically a little girl. That's not a woman. You know, a woman will see a man and be like, oh, well, he has a plan, he has goals, he's furthering, you know, his goals. Then that woman, you know what I'm saying, is supposed to go ahead and nourish the vision that he has. So when it says, does the bank account, you know, does certain women tolerate that? Yes. A lot of little girls that act like they're women tolerate, oh, he doesn't have this much money, because a lot of females want to be wined and dined, you know. And if you don't have that, then they're gonna go somewhere else. I was taught 3 things, you know. A female wants somebody that's gonna love them, pay for them, and give them the best, you know, intercourse, you know. So right there and then, that's one of the saddest things to hear. But my mama was a pimp, you know what I'm saying, a madam. So right there and then, yeah, a lot of these females only tolerate what somebody can get them. It's not unconditional love, and it's always a contract. It's not, you know what I'm saying, you just loving somebody for who they are.
That was interesting. I think that no love is unconditional, and if it is, whoever is giving it is probably a goddamn fool. Everything should have
Yeah,
conditions.
the only unconditional love is the love that your mother has for you if she gave you that. And I know a lot of men, you
I
know,
even think parents don't have unconditional
right.
love.
So, you know, it's
I think they get fed up too. So I don't
mhm.
know. But why did he? Damn, why he drop? Like I wanted to know why he had to bring up 6'4" men. Like why we had to? I didn't understand his point. Whatever.
I feel like he says the same thing that a lot of men say when they have this conversation with me. They're trying to say we want a certain type of man. Going back to all women are trying to chase a certain type of man, what they say. So they want the tall man with the big bank account. I feel like nowadays women are doing their own thing. They have a sense of independence, a sense of freedom that we've never had before. So the need isn't there anymore. It's a want. So that's why I have to totally disagree with some of what he said. But I agree with what he said about it's the little girls who are trying to act like grown women. It can even be a grown woman who has a young woman's mentality. She's going to do whatever she can in order to have access to that man's finances.
Oh, I agree. I think that to an extent, like one thing I don't like about when they say that is because why can't we like a man that's appealing to us? Because they clearly like women that's appealing to them, right? So every woman has to have a BBL or a certain aesthetic. So the moment a woman says, "Hey, I have my preferences," it's a problem. But I do think that we tend to change our preference as we get older anyway, or shift them around depending on what kind of man. I don't think women see the thing is I don't think women are chasing their preference. They just state their preference. Hey, I personally prefer a dark skinned man that's 6'2", right? I love a dark skinned man, but I'm with a light skinned man that's like 5'11". I didn't chase my preference, but I still got somebody that was good looking. He's just light as hell. So, I think that men think that we sit there and chase our preference all the time, and I think that most of the time is we just have preferences.
I agree with that. I feel like we state them. They don't like it. Going back to, I heard somebody say the bank account does matter because you don't want to date a man who doesn't make anything. Absolutely right. How can a man who has nothing be a provider and a leader for his home? He cannot.
Thank you.
How can he be the head of his household? How can he gain respect from me? Respect is earned, not given. I'm not going to give that to you. So you're absolutely right. You got to come with something because as a woman, I always tell you, don't give yourself to a man if you have nothing to give to yourself. So I'm coming with something, which means you need to come with something. And yes, I prefer that you make more than me or at the baseline of what I make. I do not agree with dating down for women. That's me. That's something I feel like men do because they're providers, they're uplifters, they help evolve. They find a good partner, a helpmate. So
Exactly.
the bank account does matter, but again, I don't care. I'm not dealing with the big bank account and the disrespectful behavior and the narcissistic tendencies and the control mechanism. I'm not dealing with that. And I think for me, this topic was so sticky because I don't care. Even when I was younger and I was dating differently and I was dating people who made less than me or seeing potential or whatever the case may be, which is the opposite of now, I never folded for the bag. Ever. I never. If it was tolerating disrespect, I'm not about to do it. And that's probably because I'm like, I'm not about to deal with you talking to me crazy to go out to eat when I can do this for myself.
Precisely. And the thing about it, and here's the thing about money also. Men get mad at us for wanting to get money when simply the world revolves around money. So yeah, we want a man with money because literally you can't do nothing in this world without money. How we paying the rent? How we paying the bills? Like y'all, they get mad about, hey, y'all want to get a nigga a dude with a bag. Like, yeah, why wouldn't I? I'm getting my bag. Why would I don't want to take care of nobody. Like, I really don't want to take care of nobody. I shouldn't have to.
I don't think you should have to. I feel like all these relationships are transactional. So, like you said, figure out. I tell people all the time, figure out what your expectations are or your transactions are to have access to that person. But absolutely right. Like, and I'm sorry, guys, y'all can't. I want y'all thoughts on this. I feel like it has become an excuse for some men who prefer to be lazy. They try to make us feel bad for expecting them to be a man. Like going back to the lotion, I don't expect you to remember that. I may not even have an issue if you forget to tell me that you used the last little drop, but I'm a dang sure have an issue if you don't pay them bills on time. Amen. That's my expectation from you as a man, and I feel like this excuse is becoming tiring, and it's ridiculous. I feel like it's an excuse for a man to be lazy, for a woman to help him build something that he already should have built before he came. So now they want to put into question, we tolerate anything.
And back to what Ellie was saying, like, especially like you don't want to take care of a grown ass man. Like if you agree or you happen to have children with this man, it's like you're already signing up for that's the helplessness. Like that's the helpless human that you're teaching to be a human being, right? You shouldn't have to teach a grown ass man. And I absolutely agree with that. I just wanted to address what you were saying.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I feel like we have this narrative because they switch from dating the women who don't tolerate it because we have it already, and they date women who do tolerate it. So then they box all of these women, sometime, not all men, but a quarter of them box us into this space to say they'll all tolerate it. No, the women you're dating will tolerate it. And you know that's what you want and what you're accepting, because everybody over on the other side has too much of a backbone to deal with the disrespectfulness that you come with. So you have to settle for that. But they don't want to call it they're settling because I feel like it makes them feel a certain way. I don't even want to say what type of way it may make them feel, but that's why I feel like this has came into play. They get what they can get sometimes. So men, y'all need to hop in. How y'all feel about that? Because what's y'all thoughts? We need to know what y'all thinking when it comes to this, because I'm confused.
King the only man on the panel.
Hold on. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
I would say this from a single man. You know, I hear this story a lot from the women I've dated about men with big bank accounts that controlling or being cheated on and all that stuff, right? So for me coming in and being a man doing all that from the jump, it's either too much or slow down or something, you know, like I'm already taking care of stuff. Like as soon as, I wouldn't say like a weekend, maybe like a month, maybe half or whatever, I'm already doing what a man's supposed to do. So I don't really understand like the bank account issue. Cause I mean, I know some guys that probably don't have as much, but they're still doing what a man's supposed to do. And some they tolerate like how they get treated, and I don't know why. And then some don't. Maybe it goes back to someone saying that it's not a woman. They have like little girl mindsets, and then some women that are young, they have a grown woman mindset. So I just wanted to add that on there, if that makes sense.
So I want to say something onto what King just said. He said he knows some men who don't have it all, but they still do what needs to be necessary for the woman in their life. And I think that's what a lot of women get confused. A man don't have to be rich to treat you like he is rich. It's about how much that man like you. So I'm not saying anything rude here, but I'm really not the worried about of a man paying attention to little stuff about me if I don't got like what is it called? I don't have lotion in the house or my nails and hair done, because I'm going to have that stuff done anyway. That's the type of woman I am. I think a lot of women have this mindset that, oh, I get with a rich man, he got money and he going to provide and stuff like that. But I'm not impressed with no man who got money if it ain't in my bank account. And I have dated broke men when I was younger, and I most definitely dated rich men who were 7 figures and up. The thing is, there's not really much difference between the two. It's about character traits. And if that man don't like you 10 times more than you like yourself, it don't even matter what he got going on. It's about how he treats you and his character traits. I dated a man last summer. I mean, brother had everything rolling. He had all the dream cars that all these boys want. Like, well, let me say men want Bentleys and Lamborghinis and all that. But guess what? The character traits was horrible, and I walked away from him. I think when it comes to if a woman will tolerate more based on what's in a man's bank account, I do believe that to be true, because I literally watch influencers who put up with cheating men just because they could drip them in Chanel and all that. I think the women on this panel, you have to focus on whatever you got going on and focus on that and become self-obsessed with you. And that is how you will attract a man that's going to treat you right. That's really it right there. You got to be self-obsessed with who you are. And that's how a man going to treat you. When he see you self-obsessed, he going to be trying to prove himself all the time. So if he got regular everyday money, he going to spend all his money on you. If he got a whole lot of money, he going to spend all his money on you.
Yeah, no, I agree. I've always been selfish. My mom used to tell everybody I was selfish as fuck. But with men, it gets you far. Being selfish like that and looking out for yourself all the time, it absolutely does. Because then they want to do things for you. And on that department, I have to say personally, never had an issue. Again, I think and I'm still trying to figure out why I end up with the certain situations that I get, because it does typically come down to like wanting that desire for ownership and possession, which may be the selfishness kind of like maybe reflecting back to me in a negative way. I don't know. But regardless of the fact, I agree with what you're saying.
Now, what race of men do you mostly date? Because that do determine what kind of relationship you will attract.
Mixed men. I've never been with a full. Wait, I would say you typically half black and something else.
Okay. So did they grow up with a black mother?
A couple of them did, and then a couple of them didn't.
Okay. Because see, unfortunately, in our community, that will determine how a man will treat you too.
Yeah, no, I'm saying I get that. That's why it's weird, because I get the possession, like that need, like it will start off normal, and then like down the line, there's this like need to like for ownership, and it doesn't align with what we initially agreed to, and I'm confused. So that's where and I think I've mentioned this before, but that's typically where I find myself within relationship dynamics with men specifically.
They treat you like they want you to solely depend on them?
No, like they want to, like that, not so much that they like, yes, it's like a combination. So it's like a combination of things. Like it's slowly cutting me off. Like I'm not at a certain point. It's like, okay, now, for example, with my ex-husband, it got to a place where he was quite literally telling me like I couldn't talk to other men. Like, I mean, like not even a hello, a nothing, like don't talk to other men. Like, where does that come from? You know what I mean? And so I guess for me personally, I'm still seeking out to understand why, which is one of the reasons why I'm very cautious in how I approach and the men that I deal with, because I don't attract dusty bums. I attract men who are typically, they're, on their stuff and capable and whatnot. But something goes awry in the part between being not in a relationship and when the relationship progresses, that I don't know. I'm still trying to understand for myself. But yeah, that's like my thing, I guess.
So let me ask you, based off of what you just said, going back to the prompt, do you feel like, have you found yourself tolerating more if they're bringing all this to the table for you?
No, because I'm the kind of woman, I will love you and leave you. Like, I don't have a problem with like leaving. After I divorced my ex-husband, I would say I've had since that relationship, and I met him when I was 18, so I was very young. By the time I was 24, not 24, by the time I was 24, we had gotten married, and then we got divorced not long after that. I would go as far as to say after him, I dealt with a couple of other men, and then I took a break because they did. It's interesting because my kid's dad didn't bring all of the extra stuff to the table, and he wasn't possessive, and it never got to a place, even now to this day, it never got to a place of like possession. And at one point I was like, oh, well, maybe like that felt like a healthy relationship to me. But there were other aspects that were missing that I was like, I can't deal with that either, because it's like, I don't do struggle in any way, shape, or form, and I can't. So yeah, I wouldn't say I tolerated anything as a result of that, because I was still making my own money as well. Like I've never not made any money, if that makes sense. So no, I've never found myself tolerating stuff from men because of their money. No.
So I got a question for all the ladies. Would you forgive more red flags in this case? Not saying, so now we're stepping outside of when the disrespect completely starts. But have you ever found yourself overlooking red flags because of the man's bank account? Why or why not?
For me personally, no, because my red flags was all when I was in my early 20s. So I saw a lot of red flags with broke dudes so I conditioned myself to like really stop playing with flags, because I thought it was 6 flags a lot of the times. I used to play around all the time. But I think at this point in my life, I can't tolerate certain disrespect, and I see certain things, certain patterns that I just don't ever want to go through, whether you got money or not. So I don't really play with them. I hate you, Corner. Sorry, what am I?
So if you had to choose, would you want to date somebody that treats you extremely well, or but they earn less than you, not as fortunate, or somebody that's wealthy and they have, I would say, maybe like significant character flaws?
Can I be honest? So it's twofold, right? I don't want a broke dude. I'm gonna be very transparent. I don't. Like it's harder in life to deal with one. They're a little meaner. I don't want a broke dude. Like as much as it makes, because what tends to happen is now the burden of certain things. Like I'm a vacation girly. I like shopping. I like all this stuff, right? And I don't want them to feel bad, because as nice as they are, is they start stressing on themselves as well, because they can't give me the lifestyle that I could give myself and that I continue to do. So if I want to go on vacation, there's less vacation with each other because he can't afford it, right? But I can't ever let disrespect from a rich dude go. Like I can't let that go, because now I'm gonna be out here just hurt, sad, and all types of stuff because he has money. So I would rather just deal with a dude that's my income or higher, but he don't gotta be filthy rich. I don't need a filthy rich dude. I just need you to be able to provide for yourself minimally, and also in the provide for the household. I should say, not minimally, the household.
Okay. So King, I remember you said when we first started, you was telling us the type of man that you were. So do you feel like that any woman that you've ever dealt with, has she overlooked any of your flaws because you were financially stable, you were the type of man that you expressed to us you were? Did she?
What you make, what you got, is you gotta pay attention to that. You gotta work on that. That was the issue right there. So, I agree with that. Like, it don't matter what you have in your bank or what, now with the little things that can be fixed, that's different, But yeah, they'll call it out.
You feel
So,
like
in your experience, women don't give you grace. That's for
No,
sure. I think that's
no. They do give you grace. Like, they do appreciate what's been done. Like, paying this, taking care of that. Helping out, whatever, showing taking the effort and doing things. Like, they appreciate that. But if you're doing something that's not needs to be done, they're not gonna tolerate it. Like, they're gonna call you out on it, regardless of what your bank account is. Especially ones that been through stuff already. That's a big part of it right there too.
do you feel like how can I say this? Do you feel like men with more money have more leverage in relationships or just more options?
I think they have more options, because some girls see the bag, see the money. Some, I ain't saying all, and it's what they can do for that person. They might let stuff slide, and then they'll get to the point where, like, they can't, like, it takes a toll on them, and then that's the last straw of it. That's what I think.
I do too. I feel like the options increase, but I don't necessarily feel. And you know what? No, I feel like the options increase and the leverage does too, because there's different type of women in the world. Whatever floats your boat. So you got some where, yeah,
Right.
you're gonna up the score in your leverage and your options.
Right.
Sure, the options, because women want providers on the out. I'm talking about the outer looking of things, right? I don't know what, when we first meet a man or meet somebody we're interested in, we don't know if he can ultimately become disrespectful. You don't know what his red flags are. So of
Right.
course, I feel like y'all options, they shoot up through the roof, because immediately before she ever gets to know you, she's thinking in her head, money equals provider.
Yeah.
Money equals he's a man before even. So I think y'all, but the leverage, I feel like it depends on what type of woman you're dealing with, for sure. Because I mean, I feel like if men are really honest, they will tell you that multiple women have given them more patience and grace. Y'all say that y'all don't get enough grace, but I think some men get more patience and grace, and women are willing to compromise depending on what point they are in their life when they found out how much that man earned.
Yeah.
Y'all are just getting grace in a different way. And I feel like some men use that to their advantage. So that's when it's perceived that I'm going to use my leverage to make women tolerate more than they normally would, because I hold this in my hand. Somebody on the panel earlier said, the world revolves around money. We can't do anything without it. We work to live. We live to die. We can't do nothing without it. So you hold that in the palm of your hand as a high earner, especially in today's economy. And I feel like men use that as leverage.
Is that why some women go off as saying, I don't need you for your money, I got my own money? So so the man don't have to hold that over them.
Yeah, that's why women get degrees. That's why women make sure that we're successful in our own, way, so that that doesn't have to be held over our head. It can be an escape plan. Because back then, our grandmothers and our mothers, some great aunts, they had to depend on that man because he held that in the palm of his hand. What else did she have?
Right.
Couldn't go nowhere. She had to accept him being with Betty Ann across the other side of town. Why? He held everything in his hand. He ain't giving no car so she can run up and down the road behind him. She sat right there at that house and took care of them kids and had that dinner ready for him when he came home, if he came home that night.
A lot of times it's the control is not worth it. So we said, F it, let's go get our own money. Like, and a lot of and that's what when I hold panels a lot, and Priestess will tell you, a lot of these men, it's a lot of education in panels sometimes, discussion about education, and men would tell us they don't care about our education, right? Because what can it, and we keep saying, well, it's not for y'all. We did this for us, so y'all can't tell us how to maneuver in life anymore. We gotta go, and then the argument will be like, oh, y'all don't get paid as much. Of course, because there's always gonna be a wage gap thing because of men and stuff like that. But for the most part, we try to do our own, because the worst part is having somebody holding us back to be just to be evil. A lot of men use money just to be evil to us, and I never want to be in that position.
Listen, I've been in it before, and it's very true. It's very possible. And some men, any small thing that, listen, I think for a man, sometimes the biggest thing is if he keeps a roof over your head and pays the rent or the mortgage, some feel like you should tolerate any and everything.
Which is wild and crazy. That is true.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I'm good. Snow, thank you for having me. I'm gonna go skedaddle real quick and finish my night. You could drop me, please.
Yes, I got you. Thank you for joining. See you next time, girlie. Let's see. But yeah, I feel like a lot of times it's when a man feels like he has done a certain amount for a woman, he feels like she should tolerate more. And they use that quote unquote, give me grace. Ignore the red flags isn't giving grace. So I feel like when, for example, like I said earlier, I know plenty of women who are financially stable. I mean, they can hold their own, but they got accustomed to a certain type of lifestyle and they didn't want to go backwards. So, like I said, I feel like it depends on the type of woman. So I talked about depending on how many kids she has in a single parent home. And I also feel like if she doesn't want to go back, I feel like a lot of times women who tolerate what is going on because of what he has is ashamed to go backwards. Is ashamed to like go back home and get out of that. So they stay in that control because they don't want somebody to realize that they couldn't really get it on their own. And that's why I feel like it's the women who can't and don't want to provide for themselves. Some can be lazy. Some can just not be able to do it. And she doesn't want to go back to the old way of living. What do y'all feel about that? Somebody said in the comments, that's why they tell everybody they're poor. What?
Yeah, I think that's true. A lot of women get accustomed, mainly when a man is taking care of her and the kids. I think a lot of them get accustomed to a certain lifestyle, living in a certain neighborhood, which is why I really believe some men prey on women who have never had anything nice, never been exposed to anything nice, or even dated that level of high caliber man. They will prey on that woman, get her pregnant, may possibly not even marry her, and they will expose her to this lifestyle, and they'll start treating her like they hate her, and she'll put up with it, for the kids.
Yeah, that's crazy. Do you feel like more with you saying that? I feel like it's our black men. I feel like our black men make the money and use it against us in the most
Yes, not all black, not
nastiest,
all black.
hateful way. But our peers, some do. When they get the money, they know that they have the leverage. They know that they have the options, and they feel like you should tolerate a lot. I feel like some men from other peers and our peers from other races, I don't see it as much.
And you won't.
I
And
see
I'm not
they
saying that's all black men, but there are some
right.
that is like that. And you got to remember, some people still got, and I'm going to say this, and I'm really not trying to offend nobody, but we have to say what it is. A lot of black people,
Right.
not a lot, but there are some black people who was born in the hood and they still got soul ties to that. So when you still got soul ties to things, you're going to treat your peers, which is women who was probably outside of the hood or in the hood, like as if you hate them, because it's like, I got all this money now and I never had this, and you think you're going to come live off of me? That's the mindset they got. Yeah, they want the baddest chick to show off to their friends, but they're going to treat her the worst because it's like, I work for this and you didn't. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I say, like, you really got to vet, like, and become self-obsessed with yourself and see what type of man you really want to link yourself to. Because some of these dudes, like, some black men, the way they view money, I just can't date those type. They view money in a really
A lot of
bad
them
way.
date from a scarcity mindset, which is one of the reasons why, like, I don't know. I feel like they always feel like there's not enough. Like there's not enough time. Like if you listen to how they talk to about money, it's like there's not enough. They're always complaining about not having enough, and I feel like that rubs off on you constantly being bombarded with that thought process.
Right. Nothing will ever be enough for them. They
Yeah.
gotta go and go and go. And unfortunately, it's just I never dated outside my race as of today, but I do know some women, black women, who have, and it's just a lot calmer. It's a lot smoother for them.
I did have an experience where I dated a YT man for a short period of time back in my college days. And it was a very different experience, even from dealing with mixed men, which the men that I've dealt with are typically generous, but YT men, not only are they generous, at least in my experience, but there's also a level of freedom that exists to like kind of like to just like be, if that makes sense. Like it can be peaceful, it can be quiet without them having to like shake shit up, is like the best way that I could like think about it or like vocalize it, I guess, at this point. Because if you think about it, like when I don't know, I don't, maybe not all black men are like this, because again, I don't have like that much experience, but I've heard stories of just like, yeah, like he gets home and then he like immediately finds something wrong, or like they complain a lot and shit like that. So I don't know, but that's what I've heard.
Yeah, and I experienced that from African men. I have dated African men, and it's a lot smoother. It's a lot just more peaceful and more freeing as a black woman. But I personally never dated outside my race as of today. And again, we have a lot of great black men, but unfortunately, a lot of them is already married or something's going on. And it's a shame because a lot of us, we would want to date and marry them, but it's their mindsets on money. And then when they get money, yes, that is why some women will tolerate certain things, because they just gotta have black love and they gotta be with this black man. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, a lot of women will tolerate different things if a man has income. My opinion.
I feel like I agree. And I'm gonna say what you said earlier. I hope I don't offend anybody, but this the cold truth. So I feel like I gotta keep it honest. I feel like we deal with that from Black men because they're not used to anything, like you said. Like I feel like, you know, other races, especially Caucasian race, they usually they do the opposite of what we do, which I've been telling people for the longest. We need to start building generational wealth before we start building the generation. They do the opposite of us. So, and Black men, quote unquote, want to say they have it easier. They do have stepping stones in some ways, but I feel like when those men get the money, it's like it may be peaceful over there because they don't feel like somebody's using them or trying to come in and live off of what they had to work so hard for. They're like, it's just, it is what it is. I feel like Black men, once they get their hands on the money, they become,
Insufferable?
yes, thank you. Thank you. And I feel like that's why we have the problem. And I feel like you're right. Women are tolerating it because she's like, I gotta have this Black love from this Black man, and I know he's been through it, so I'm just gonna hold him down and deal with it. He's been through a lot. And then if we step outside of that to go, quote unquote, to a peaceful side of things, we're still ridiculed for that. And so some women are afraid to step outside of their comfort zone with dating another race because she doesn't want to give up on her Black men. But I mean, when we having topics like this, they've already given up on us because look at how they treat us when they get their hand on some money, and look at how quick they leave when they do. They go share it with another race before they'll give it to us half the time. But when it runs out, they're right back over, trying to figure out how to rebuild.
Jonathan Myers or Mayers, whatever his name is.
And I think that goes back. I think that goes back to actually like civil rights. I wouldn't say slavery, but I would say civil rights. There's a book by a young lady, Michelle. I believe her name is Michelle Brown. It's called The Black Superwoman, or the Superwoman, the myth of the Black Superwoman and like the Black Macho, something like that. Anyway, it talks about how she was alive in the 60s, like in the throes of the civil rights era, and how Black men would essentially use, her complaint was Black men essentially use Black women as their footstool to get ahead, but they do not pick us up. They do not bring us with them. They will go and, you know what I mean, pick up someone else on the way. And it's kind of interesting that she put it that way. And when we watch, you know, what we see playing out now, it's kind of like, well, has it really changed? I don't feel like it has. I don't know.
So it's not going to be a problem. If it's understandable why a woman would go to another race, it wouldn't be a problem. It should be understandable, a man going to another race. It wouldn't be because he has money, but perhaps it's the same thing as another human being, which is where it's peaceful. And
How
the
is it
money
peaceful?
affords
I
him
like how
that
you said
trip.
that. But you know,
So
but when I really listen to what you just said, I can agree. Y'all feel like it's peaceful, but can we please elaborate on why y'all feel like it's peaceful? Because when I talk to some brothers, their peace is she doesn't give me pushback, and that's why we use the term she doesn't have a backbone, quote unquote.
I don't mind. I don't mind the conversation where I'll answer that question, but this inquiry should be like at the forefront of your mind when a woman says the same thing. The woman
But we
says, I see.
aren't going over there to find
No, I'm
peace.
not trying to switch it. Like I said, I don't mind answering, but it's just not at the forefront of your mind when a woman says, I'm going to that white man or that Spanish because it's peaceful. You're
They
you're
don't say
you're
we don't say
Gotcha.
that
Okay, I hear
though.
what you're
no,
saying.
that was mentioned. I was listening to the conversation. Somebody mentioned
No,
that.
no, I did say that. I said some women
Oh,
may,
okay.
whatever your form of, yeah, whatever your form of peace is. I'm saying what I've heard, like other friends or people who date outside their race that I know say I agree with him. They're saying the same thing.
No, I get it. It's because
They're
the
looking for a peace in a different
regulated.
form.
It's a I think too. It's a regulated nervous system. I think that's part of it too. Because a lot of if you think about how a lot of Black people respond to like when people say, and I'm saying like just generally, right? If someone says something that rubs you the wrong way, or if someone approaches you the wrong way, a lot of Black people are quick, like it's a very quick to anger kind of thing, which is a sign of a dysregulated nervous system. Now, I'm not saying like tolerate disrespect. I'm not saying that at all. But I am saying that a lot of times what we as Black women consider disrespect and we won't tolerate, because again, when your nervous system's dysregulated, having someone who's also dysregulated is only going to it's going to amplify it, right? And that's how you get volatile relationships. If a Black man whose nervous system is dysregulated goes into an environment with a white or Asian or Latino woman whose nervous system is regulated, it's gonna feel quote unquote peaceful, even though he can't put his hand on exactly what it is. Even if she behaves in certain similar ways to Black women, it is that her nervous system is not dysregulated. So he can come back with a dysregulated nervous system, never work on it, and she's not going to be dysregulated. Now, at a certain point, would she be dysregulated? Yeah, absolutely, which is one of the reasons why Black men have some of the highest divorce rates. The highest divorce rates, y'all don't stick in marriages with any race. Because over time, even it takes a toll on those women. So at the end of the day, Black men have an obligation to kind of like do some type of healing to regulate themselves. But that's neither here nor there. I was just trying to point out that I think that's the piece, quote unquote, that we're all referring to, is quite literally being able to have access to someone whose nervous system isn't going haywire, thereby stressing them
That
out.
may I, if that's all right. So
Yeah.
that isn't that that's not the story. Like that's not where it starts or where it ends. Um, System being regulated or not is something that comes and goes with any given conditions, right? Certain conditions for me can deregulate minds, certain conditions for you. Once those conditions are gone, which they will be gone because it's temporary, we're back to equilibrium. Um, I think where the piece, because you can still be regulated and so mono in how you handle everything and still create an unpeaceful dynamic.
No, you
Hold
can't.
on, you don't wait. Absolutely, because I'm not only thinking about reactions, right? I'm not only thinking about display. I'm also thinking about the constant questions. See, I've been there. That's why I was able to quickly see more than just what was said, because in reality of all the relationships I've had, I've seen it where a conversation was already settled, brought up again and again and again, perhaps because the woman, which is a true story, needed uh, 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 an unsatisfying amount of validate, not validation. What's the word, ladies? Assurances, right? Conversations already had, and she still wants to come back. I need to be assured again. Like, what? That's not
White women
peaceful.
do
That's nagging.
other women, other races do that too. That's what I'm
No, I'm
saying.
not. No, no,
They
no.
do.
I'm not speaking about race right now. I'm speaking about where it starts and ends is not necessarily with our nervous system. This
It
is
is.
so, okay, fine.
Most of
All
it.
right. I
Most
was
of it.
trying to tell you about others, but I see you're
No,
not
because
receiving it.
you're either trying to tell me one of two things, and this is what I'm hearing. So correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what I'm hearing. You're telling me, no, it doesn't have anything to do with the nervous system
I
because
said not that.
this woman After having a conversation with her, she still wanted reassurance. There's nothing wrong with that. Where in
Right.
that would there be something wrong?
Well, it is for the man, but you're not caring to. Okay, so listen. The what we're talking about is peace. We're talking about where is peace disrupted. I only said to you it doesn't start or end with just nervous systems being unregulated. This is a talking point for how we define this display. It's a display actions that are taken a reaction to now tell us, yo, their nervous system is bad, right? Comes out of that display.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not always that formula for where peace is disturbed. That's all I'm trying to get at. We're still talking about peace, am I right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't start or end with just nervous system. Nervous system is part of our reality where people don't have it regulated, but that's not the whole dynamic of human beings interacting with each other. Peace gets disturbed when, you know what I mean, I give my baby girl instructions and I tell her, yo, go get this, right? This is what I need, right? I need, let's say, for example, I'm lactose intolerant. Next thing you know, she comes back with whole milk. I'm like, come on, baby, you killing me here. You feel me? Like, I'm disturbed, minus outside of this nervous regulation thing. So I'm trying to just ground us into like what be happening on an everyday basis. A nervous deregulation leads to some catastrophic moments. That's not our everyday daily basis. And so I was trying to point to something that's more daily, day to day, and I'll land.
The thing with that, and I'll just say this to address that, and then I'll be done. But it starts with the small things. The small things that go unaddressed stay in your nervous system. There's a book, it's called The Body Keeps Score. I don't know if you've ever read it, but I highly recommend it. It basically talks about what you just said. You're saying, oh no, your nervous system gets dysregulated by these massive changes. Yes, massive change can cause nervous system dysregulation, but tiny little inconsistencies and discomfort over time absolutely does the same thing. And then that's how you have that blow up. That's how you get to the place where there's
My
that
peace is
complete,
my peace
where
is disturbed the first time.
where it's completely disturbed. Right.
Since we're
But
still
it's the
talking about
small
peace,
things. I'm saying
yeah,
it's the small things over time.
yeah, I'm not taking away from what you're saying. I'm just bringing us to the day-to-day happenings where peace is disturbed. And so I am clear in seeing nagging doesn't have to come with a disturbed deregulated nervous system, whatever we're talking about. No, nagging doesn't come with that all the time, but nagging happens a lot.
Okay,
And
well,
that's
I
a
think
disturbing of
that
the
I
peace.
think that I think that you're not pointing to what the other cause would actually be outside of the nervous system. What I'm saying makes sense. I don't know where you're trying to take it, or if you're just simply trying to blame the women for wanting reassurance, because that's the only example that you gave. A woman wanting reassurance from a man who claims he loves her, if she's in a vulnerable moment, or if she's having a rough day, or if she's just wants reassurance because she wants real fucking insurance. Like,
I have not
don't give
made
it
it
to her,
gender.
don't give it to her. But at the end of the day, that also comes down to you.
I'm experiencing words being added to something I never said. Right now I'm counting like two different things that you're adding to that I never said. I never made it gender specific. I only am focused on speaking about peace being disturbed. Peace does get
So I have a
disturbed. It's not simply deregulated nervous. That's that's an event,
It's not
but that's not
deregulated,
okay.
friend.
I
It's
got
also not
I got a
Okay.
deregulated. It's
question. Hold
dysregulated.
on. Hold on, y'all. I got a question before y'all go past that. I want to ask a question. When you said, when you came on earlier, you talked about just like it should be at the forefront of our mind for women and men that sometimes they go over to other races because of the peace and a form. Are you saying, if I'm hearing you right, a form of that peace could be less nagging or less reassurance for that
No,
man?
no,
I'm
that's
asking that
not.
before
No,
I continue.
yeah, no,
Okay.
I'm not. I didn't expound on that. So no, what I'm
Okay.
speaking about with the nagging and stuff is strictly under where a man or a woman can experience, a disturbed peace
Right.
outside of deregulated nervous systems in others, not
So I
gender
have a
specific. But go
okay.
ahead. Yeah.
So I have a question, gender specific question though, because with my podcast, I see a lot of comments and I see a lot of men say this. So this is what kind of confuses me. So I want to ask a man. When it comes to how I mentioned earlier that a lot of black men will come into a new fruition of stability with their finances, they move on to the next race. When asked a question for those men, they have told me that I find more peace over there. And then they did say something about the nagging. That's why I wanted to come back and
Oh
elaborate on that
yeah.
one too.
Yeah. No.
So hold on just a second.
Oh, sorry.
So they, give me just a second. They say they go over there for that. So for me, it's almost like when black men come into a sense of financial stability, I feel like they feel that since they're high earners, we should give them more flexibility. And I really I don't understand how y'all peace equates sometimes to less nagging, more freedom. Um, but it goes back into they tolerate more there, possibly for the bank account, because they overlook and give you more flexibility. So, like, can you explain if you get what I'm trying to say? I feel like I
I
hear
think
so
I
many
do.
men say that,
Yeah, I think I do.
and it's confusing to me.
But we all know though, right? Regardless of what someone says, we all know nagging is indicator of someone's maturity. So it doesn't matter where you go in this world, right? It's
What
indicated
do you
of
guys
a maturity
consider as
level of the
nagging?
person you experience nagging from. It's not, you can't leave the
What do
country
you
to
guys
escape that.
consider as nagging?
But listen, the men who you're speaking to who are travelers going overseas, they're telling
Hmm.
you their last relationship was one of a nagger. They're telling you that. They telling you that they experienced a woman that didn't nag over there, but that's not saying nagging doesn't exist over there. You know what I mean? That's just what that person is escaping. But we know nagging is based on a maturity level. Now, to your point, to your question, with peace, a man finding peace, it ain't. I'm looking outside of nagging, and I'm looking into the interpersonal cooperation and participation that a man will find with different women of different cultures, right? Cultures has their own mindsets and mentality, view on family, view on marriage. A man is struggling to find a different mentality that's going to be cohesive with his own when it comes to marriage and family. The one experience is the cooperation is hard as hell to have in this culture where women are fighting to be, a leader, a boss too. And then you go to another culture where the women are not shown to be encouraged in that way. Don't give a fuck about who's leading anymore, right? And who's bossing. They don't care. They care about, yo, give me my babies. And let me do my thing, what I like to do, which is taking care of my babies and taking care of my beautiful man when he comes home. Like, don't ask me to lead or be a boss, and I'm not gonna fight you on that. I don't care. Like, I'm cooperating and participating as long as I get a family here and I'm secure here. You know, so that's where I see peace is where a man defines it.
But can you define to us or elaborate more on what is considered nagging? Because it goes back to is it just reassurance, and what's wrong with that from
Nagging
either
is.
side?
Yeah, that's right. Reassurance, asking constant reassurance is having an insecurity, which is a false. like having an insecurity is like you don't need to feel insecure. Something about you is we need to figure this out because it doesn't come from outside of you, not all the time. Woman just hasn't heard it in 3 days, I love you, the words I love you, and wants to be reassured. Or a woman hasn't had sex in 7 days and wants to be reassured that love is still there. Like that's a personal thing. The nagging is like, yeah, baby, I still love you, but I'm just tired. I work 12 hours, da 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 da. I only get my days off Friday and Saturdays. Of course, my first day off, I ain't got no life yet. Let me recuperate. Saturday, I'm back to my whole self. Now I can give you what you want, but I have to repeat that for you next week, and then the week after that, and the week after that. At that point, you're just nagging, right?
I can't agree with that because I'm gonna say I can't agree with this because where did the reassurance need come from? I think that's the part that's sometimes overlooked, and that's the lack of
Internally,
peace. And some
let me shut
could
up.
it, but I mean, it could be. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But let's have that. 50% could be that. 50% could be the lack of peace within the relationship for some odd whatever it is. So are we overlooking what you got to think about? 9 times out of 10, women want reassurance on a couple of things. It's always the same, and the list never changes, and it always comes as a reaction to what happened to them or something that occurred. 50% of the time. And yeah, some can come in with baggage and need reassurance. And for that, I agree with you. I'll tell a woman in a minute. It's not a man's job to fix what you got going on inside of you. Stop asking for reassurance on something you already know the answer to. That for me, I don't like that. So I can agree with you on that. But I
And
can't say I agree with you on the whole statement though.
well, yeah. I know men who's gonna be like, yo, I don't care. They outside on the block, and they woman's nagging about quality time. Well, that dude needs to check himself. He's running away from the responsibilities and, excuse me, obligations and duties he's got for his relationship. Those are the Pookies and Ray Rays, though. Excuse me, which I find to represent
Exactly.
less than 17% of the black community,
Yeah,
right?
true.
Um,
I agree.
you
I
know.
definitely agree. It's those type of men.
It's them type of
Oh,
men.
it's a lot.
Majority of black men actually handles those responsibilities and duties. Do you know the people that are traveling overseas or whatever, passport bros? I'm not defending them. I'm not one. What they're chasing for overseas, I actually have it here in my house, like
What are they
in my
chasing?
life.
Because
The
because
cooperative,
that was my
participative, yeah.
okay. And but when we look at it, it's like, why couldn't you get that from your sisters? Like you you could have got that from your black queens. That's something that you can't find what you're looking for, but are you being who you're trying to attract?
I mean, can we? I mean, don't the black community have a chip on their shoulders and they say, the system is white supremacist, so it's a dangerous world, predator versus prey type world. Aren't they saying, due to our history, we justify why we are the way we are today? I mean, aren't these like chips on their shoulders, black men and black women?
I'm not I'm not gonna say chips, I'm gonna say excuses.
And so if they lived it though, that's their mantra. They live it. The identity of an African American is rooted in like what history told them
Yeah.
their ancestors are, which is the slaves. And so everything that goes on today, they measure it to slavehood. Next is Jim Crow. Next is Trump America, right? They equate what they got going on with themselves to that, right? Excuses. Now, if that's how they live, if they tying excuses to their identity, you know, well, it doesn't matter how I reflect who I am as myself. Let's talk feminism. Now that's pervasive. That's in everybody's brain, right? Some people don't even know their feminism, but as soon as you listen to them talk, you realize feminists got to their head. It doesn't matter how I reflect myself if in America we have ideology wars. You know what I'm saying? Ideology wars. And so it don't matter how I stand, how I come out. The woman is still gonna feel weird if I come home asking, "Can you make me some food?" She's still gonna feel weird about that. She's gonna speak her mind, right? Be independent, speak your mind, woman. Know your worth. Say no. That's your boundary. So this is a hyper awareness of things I don't feel is healthy. But now people here, due to social media and propaganda and all that, is very hyper aware of like little things that's supposed to be harmonious, you
But
know?
when you put it into the perspective of that, those women are speaking like that and acknowledging those boundaries and standards and all those lists of things you just said to the person who is obviously not aligning with her. So I can't, yes, you can find exactly what they're over there looking for. You can get it over here if you guys present as the type of person that you want. No, it's some women that are not gonna voice all of those things you just said because you came in the house and you want something to eat. No. But now if you're being a certain type of way, yeah, you're absolutely right. That's what you're going to get. It's a defense mechanism. But again, I say for those women, you have to choose better, right? So
Right,
you keep
right.
experiencing, if men are experiencing those type of things with those type of women, that's not really his fault. That's her fault for choosing the same type of man who makes her say those things.
Right. And even how we educate ourselves too, right? We don't really talk about that, right? Like social media is doing a whole lot more educating than, you know what I'm saying? In the ways where a woman never had that experience, but will have that reaction as if she's had that trauma in her past. Like I'm meet that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I am
Yeah,
running
no,
into
no.
that.
Yeah, it can
They
be like
will.
that. I just made a post the other day about that. I was like, listen, you cannot let social media like influence your expectations. Like just all around influence you. You cannot. Because yeah, they'll see it and immediately feel like they went through it or but I
Yeah.
mean, we can say the same for the other side, for the men, but for women, more so on our side because it comes with that emotion of trying to avoid it or trying to get out of it. But
What
again,
will
I think
change
it
that? You know what's going,
again
you know what?
what listen, making better choices. That's why I always
Hmm.
tell women when I talk to them, I said, a lot of times men don't like what I say because I'm coming in hot, but I have to identify to a woman what her unhealthy choices look like. You got to call it out so she can see that, and she has to take accountability, stop blaming, and move on with better choices. But also for men too, it'll stop that when they stop using it as a loophole to take advantage of the woman that they know is too weak to do better.
Hmm. Hmm.
So then
Yeah.
it's you get what I'm saying. If
Oh yeah.
everybody's playing a part in it, it's like a lot of times I'll ask something on social media and the question should be split right down the middle. Like I was talking the other day about who contributed more to single parent households. In my opinion, both sides. Women should have chose better, and men should have stopped being with the women they know they didn't want to really build a family with. But on the other flip side, everybody blamed each other. So how does that change? Stop blaming each other. Have the conversations and say what it is. And that's what I said about the whole this is why this topic came up. I don't want to ask this before we end. I don't want to hold you too much longer, but I don't even understand why this has to be a question. Why do we as a community tie anger and standards and being used and abused to a man's bank account? Like, why is this shouldn't
Mm,
even be a question. It shouldn't even be a reason why a man should
mm,
sit on my podcast and say, the more we don't care about the money you have, but you should care about the money I have, and you're going to do exactly what I say and fold for this bag because that's what women do. But then get upset if a woman uses pretty privilege, if a woman has a transactional relationship, which a
mm,
transactional relationship is just an unconditional relationship. But I'm calling it what it is. So now it's different. So then they take this newfound sense and move over somewhere else because it becomes less peaceful. But why is it less peaceful? Because you made the money, and now instead of enjoying the money and allowing it to be peaceful, you now use it as a sense of control.
mm. And
Why is
that's
this even
where,
a question that we have to ask?
and is that where you were saying the anger and standards? From the man, you said
Yes.
there's anger and standards from the man based on his money, like he gets more angry.
Yeah, I feel like
Hmm.
the anger could come with in it comes in a different form. It comes in a way of you should be allowing me more leeway, if that makes sense. Like,
Mm.
and I may not
I
even say
got you now.
anger. I mean, I'll pull anger out and I'll say it's the chip on his shoulder. He expects
Expects,
most of the
yeah,
time a woman to
yeah,
ignore the red flags as long as he got the bag. But
yeah.
it's crazy that why should that even be? Why shouldn't you? You know what they say? They always say, money can't buy happiness. That's a damn lie.
Right,
People
right,
happy as
right,
hell when they
right.
got money.
Nah,
Now the choices you,
they
the
shopping at the
choices you
wrong
make and how
store.
lonely you may get because you start. Right, you shopping at the wrong store. You can't trust people. You become like not delusional, but hysterical about everything. You have to look over your shoulders more times than you would have before. And I think with our community, we don't get to enjoy just the piece of that. And we have this question, which I feel like is ridiculous for men to even have to defend this question, but also for women to even have to ask, will the size of a man's bank account determine what she'll tolerate?
Yo,
Because
good. I like how you tied it back, but because I was going to do the same thing. I with the certain kind of women, like I said, that has like their own mindset, and I'm not what I mean is they have a mindset that's kind of anti-future, family, anti-future family, future marriage. It's a mindset of me, individual self, and now, right? Like what I need to get my life right now, and not seeing the long run. And with those kind of women, I feel that a man that shows up that's got it like that to provide everything she ever needed is what it's going to take to reroute her whole paradigm of thinking into one now. Oh, I got me not just a captain, but I got a captain on a yacht that finna give me a comfortable life for the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna make her go, you know what? Let me try as best as I can to follow his program, hear what he gotta say, and try to do and not quit. Because women will quit over any at the sign of the first red flag. But that one woman who was like
right.
that
Okay.
will change her mind about how she operates if the money presents itself, and
Okay.
not just the money. Of
You know
course,
what?
it's got to be a gentleman that she's comfortable to sleep in bed with. She's got to be that too.
Mhm. I can understand what you're saying because you open up the box for me a little more because I immediately went into when looking at this, I immediately went into like cheating, things of that nature, like accepting those things. But the way you explained it, and now that I think about it, I feel like yes, toleration comes in different forms.
Yeah,
And you're absolutely
yeah.
right.
A man
It's
can
been
get
times
lazy.
like I have a home, I have a home, and we'll joke sometimes. And she may have a issue with her fiance or whatever, something that he's doing that she may not like. Now, mind you, this may be a guilty pleasure of his or something like that, something simple that's really not bothering her, but it bothers her. And so, because he's established, because of the way that he treats her with respect, X, Y, and Z, we have the conversation sometime. And I'm like, girl, you better not go in there and talk to him like that. You need to, like, look at his program and how he want to run it. It's not hurting you. And look, this is when I say look at his program and how he wants to run it. I'm talking about not how he's controlling you. I'm talking about how he demands his respect from you because he gives you everything you need. So I need you to sit back and give me the hasty attitude that they mostly run away from. Because most of them say when they go to other races, they're looking for peace and that way, the way they're talked to, the way they're respected and handled. And also they want a little leeway too. But I'll tell her, girl, get that to me. because you made it into that 1% of men who is a high earner. He's respectful. He cares for you. He loves you. It's for real. So yeah, you may not like that he came in and didn't grab what you needed him to grab from the store, and now you got to stop cooking to go back out, or whatever the case may be. Don't go in there and talk to him like that. So she's falling.
Man, we fuck up, man. We
I get how
like,
you made me think. I get how you
yeah, yeah. Well, I'm gonna try to give something outside of the typical, perspectives or talking points. I do try my best, but I'm here. I'm here now. Like, thank you for inviting me, because with every conversation, I'm stimulated to
of
learn.
course.
Yeah, yeah. You said every Sunday.
Every Sunday from 7 to 9:30. We're gonna end it a little early. I don't know what I want to talk about next week, but if you got some ideas, whatever. I like to, I'm my podcast is, like I said, the cold truth. It's the conversations we've been avoiding. And so I like to have conversations that'll end like this, to where I came in with looking at it from a negative standpoint, to say it's control. He wants control. But then the way you just brought it back in full circle for me made me understand, like, yeah, you will tolerate some of the aggravating things that are not hurting you emotionally, mentally. Because like you said, women at the first sign of aggravation, sometimes we up out of there, or sometimes we just,
Yeah,
our
yeah,
expectations are unrealistic in ways. So I like to have conversations that make people think, because like I told them when we first started, it's not about attacking the person, it's about attacking the argument. Like,
true.
gotta look at it
I'm
from that point of view.
hoping,
So
man, listen, since you the host, I trust this is how the panel finna, you know what I'm saying? Where people gonna come on here and defend talking points and not come for me. Like, if you run out of things to say, just leave me alone. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, stay quiet. Don't come for me now because you ain't got nothing else to say. I swear.
listen, that is exactly how it's gonna be ran. It's gonna be some trial and error. I'm learning to kind of figure it all out. But I agree with you. It's been a lot of podcasts that I have to respectfully decline, because I don't mind a healthy debate, but you will not degrade me. You will not yell at me or disrespect me. I do not like that. You have to attack the argument, because at the end of the day, when we really get down to it, it's different ways to see what it is. And I just want people to stop blaming each other. Like, really talk about it, and you're going to see where you fit in and what you can do. I walked away from this knowing something that I could do differently. I hope that you did too.
Yeah, yeah.
I hope you will walk away from this knowing that you can approach something differently, think about something differently, or do something differently within how like operate in this
Yes.
department that we're talking about.
Right. As we speak.
So,
Yes. As we speak. Absolutely.
so I appreciate you so much for coming on.
Yeah, you go by
And you have a
Snow,
good
right?
night.
People call you Snow.
Yes,
Okay,
no.
cool. Cool. Thank you, Snow.
Yep.
All right. Good night.
Alrighty. Bye.
Bye.
Good night. Thank you to everybody that joined the conversation tonight. I really appreciate it, whether you were on the panel or in the comments. If you enjoyed this discussion, please be sure to follow us on YouTube, official Decode Truth. You can watch anything that you miss. Remember, you do not have to agree with every opinion to learn from it. And until next Sunday, keep thinking, keep questioning, keep seeking the cold truth. I'm Snow, and I'll see you next time.